Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Teesha. Today we have a fun video, a little different for the channel, but it's one I had on my list to do for a while because, as you all know, I do like to sprinkle in the makeup content. But rest assured, I will definitely post some type of candle review today or something. But for those of you that do like makeup as well, this one will be fun. This is a makeup palette tag that was created by Samantha March, one of my absolute favorite YouTubers. She is very creative in how she shares her collection, uses her collection, and talks about what she will buy, as well as Ellie Glines, who is also amazing at makeup. And I followed these girls forever. I saw that they had done this tag, and I was like, I really want to do that because it's such a fun way, if you have a makeup collection at all, to go through and kind of remind yourself of why you bought these palettes and why you love these palettes. I have quite a few makeup palettes, eyeshadow palettes, because it is something that I really enjoy using. They're very fun. They usually have a theme, and so, you know, I have a lot of different ones that I absolutely adore. But today I'm going to share 11 of them with you and kind of answer the questions of this tag, but I'll definitely tag their videos down below if you'd like to watch a few more. I know that Samantha usually creates playlists, so you could just watch a whole bunch of these and find out about a lot of fun, amazing makeup creators and their favorite palettes. So let's just jump right in. I am going to answer their questions in the tag. So the first one is your all-time favorite palette. And this was really hard because I have a lot of favorites. I really, really do. But Urban Decay Born to Run just really comes to mind when I think about a makeup palette that I absolutely love, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, the packaging is beautiful. I want to go to every single place that's on here. This is an older palette. I've had this for years, and I still use it. I still really love it. Let me show you mine. So it is quite loved, as you can see. And I mean, I've even got other shadows in shadows, so I'm making my own shadows, super cool. But this one, just when I got it, I couldn't think of a palette that I loved as much as this one. It has everything in here. This top row is super wearable, so I'd wear it to the office, but I'd always get a lot of compliments. But then there's a lot of fun little splashes of color that are jewel tones and subdued, which is my favorite type of color to add. And so I could turn a day look into a night look quite easily, just adding one of these fun shimmery shades. But this one is a lot of fun memories because I got it right around the time Aaron and I started dating, so quite a few years ago. And I really loved wearing this one because I always felt like my look came together so pretty. But yeah, there's just plenty of, well, not anymore because I've gone through this shade that was absolutely my favorite for just laying down on the lid to start the look. But there's so many in here that I still absolutely love. This smog shade over here. This is what I'm wearing a lot of times when you guys give me compliments on my eyeshadow look. And even though I put this in a use it up type of project pan kind of video, I kept it because once I started pulling it out to use it, I just fell in love with it all over again. So this is my all-time favorite palette, but I have quite a few that are really up there. But this one I've definitely used and got a lot of use of. So the next category is your new favorite. For Christmas, I finally got to grab some Sigma palettes. That was a brand that was on my wish list forever. And they have these really cute little like curated sets for Christmas. So the one I've been pulling for as of recent and really loving is the Rosa. Let me show you the color story. Look, I'm so nerdy. I keep even the little cute shadow protector, but this color story is so pretty. It is also wearable. There's a lot of subdued colors in here, even though it looks really bright. So I'm able to create a look for work and it doesn't look too crazy, but also I can amp it up. I haven't even dipped into this Sun Sprite shade. That's really pretty, or this High Society, which is like this shade on the end. But I'm going through my rose in the Rosa shade. That is the most beautiful shade in this palette. I really enjoy Campfire, but I'm just creating some really pretty looks. This is the palette I have on my eyes today, and I really love the formula of Sigma. So I'm super glad I got those for Christmas, and I need to dig into the other palettes more. Having a lot of palettes, it is hard if you're not intentional to use them, but this one I'm pulling out for spring, and I think I'm going to create a lot of fun looks with it. So this is a new favorite. Number 3 is a palette that you keep for memories, and this is kind of a cheat because this is actually my second palette of this one. This is the Violet Voss Pro Holy Grail. The first one was Beat Up. I had used so many shades. This is really hard to share with you guys because this mirror doesn't really fold well. This was one of the first palettes I fell in love with, and I went through so many shades. I decided to grab this in like a boxy sale they had on their website, but I also love a good like play on words, and some of these shades are so cute, like Glamping, Cool Beans, On Fleek, How You Doing? But this was another really wearable palette for me, but it wasn't just browns, you know, so I could mix one of these transitions and then pick a shimmer, and I was put together for the day. And I always got a lot of compliments on this, so I did grab a backup of this, but this was a Holy Grail palette for a long time, hence the name Holy Grail, and I would just continue to gravitate towards it. I remember when Laura Lee had a collab with Violet Voss. That palette I loved as well, but this one was one that I wore the most, I guess. So this is just a palette that I probably don't reach for enough, but it is really pretty when you work with some of these shades. But these are my shades. Like, I really love a good cranberry moment, mauve, a lot of taupe in here. So this is a palette that I keep for memories because I replaced it for memories. I just loved this palette so much the first time around. I grabbed it a second time around. The fourth category is an underrated palette, and this one was really hard because I don't necessarily think my choice is underrated in the makeup community. I think a lot of people talk very highly of this palette, but I think that I underrated this palette, so I picked That's Taupe from Colourpop. I picked it up because everyone was talking about how amazing it was, and then I got it home and I was like, oh, okay, cool tones, cool, and I put it in the drawer. And I just grabbed it out one day because I realized I hadn't used it and I hauled it like a long time ago, and I couldn't stop using this palette. As you can see, there's like a dip and dent in every single shadow. What I really love about this palette is it's just so easy to use. So I got this one way before the Glam, and the Glam is in here too, just a spoiler, but I really do love a cool tone eyeshadow look. This has the exact perfect match to a matte with a shimmer that you can really easily put a look together. So I just use a matte and then I kind of color coordinate a shimmer with it, and it's like a 2 eyeshadow look and I'm done, but it looks like I really spent some time on my eyeshadow look. So I really, really love this one. I'm calling it underrated because for me, because I looked at this and I didn't see a pop of color or something pretty, I just put it in the back of the drawer, and I'm so glad I dug it out one day just to be like, girl, you got to use your stuff. And as you can see, I really got into using this one. So this one was underrated, but just because of me. Everybody loves that palette. Okay, category number 5 goes to a palette that is not a favorite, but you can get rid of it. And this was pretty easy for me because this palette goes into like my little declutter pile a lot, and then I pop it back out and put it back in my collection. This is the Wild Nothing palette from Colourpop. So right after the pandemic kind of started to slow for the first time, Colourpop wasn't producing anything because they make everything in-house. So it was very slow, but then they started pumping out the releases, and this was one that just kind of got thrown into the middle. It didn't make sense when it came out. The color story didn't work for I think it was like almost the fall, and this is very spring, as you'll see, but I did like this color story. Again, I love muted colors. But there's only a couple looks I can make out of this palette that I like. The other ones I usually pull in another eyeshadow palette, but for some reason I just can't get rid of it. As you can see, I really like this shade called Sultan, and this Come Together shade down here I really enjoy as well. But a lot of times I'll start with this palette and I add something to it, but I just can't get rid of it. So I don't know what my connection is to this palette. Maybe it was just because I could finally buy makeup again, but I think the packaging's cute. It's just that there's been so many Colourpop releases that this one really kind of, everybody just skipped it. They were like, we're getting a little tired, we're gonna take a break. And I went ahead and grabbed it, but I haven't been able to declutter it, so I just keep it around, and I don't really know why, but it is not a favorite. Number 6 is your favorite collab palette. And I have so many favorites on YouTube, and I'm so excited when they get the opportunity to work with a brand because they work so hard for that opportunity. I had a lot of favorites. It was between this one and the Samantha March and Ofra palette, but I did go with this one because this one wowed me. This is the Anastasia, Beverly Hills, and Jackie Aina palette. And this one came out and there was like another collab right on its heels. So I hope that everyone that wanted this one got it because it is a stunning palette. There's so much fun to do in this palette. Lots of shimmer, but lots of these colors, again, are in that jewel tone family for me. I thought it was really dark when I first got it, like a lot of loud purples and browns, but this shadow formula is so pretty on the eyes. It worked for me. She's so funny. So there's so many shades in here that just make me laugh just to read it. Like Shookington, Wigglies. I really like Dollars, Lituation, and Sponsored. But those shades, as you can see, huge dips because I absolutely love going into this palette. And I just wish it would have got its real true moment because I think a lot more people would have got their hands on this. I'm so glad to have mine. I'll never get rid of it. But this one is my absolute favorite collab. It was such a good one. Okay, the next one is my 2021 favorite, and this was super easy. This was like the first one I put into this palette tag. This is the Natasha Nona Glam palette. I don't know if it came out in 2020 or 2021, but I bought mine from Sephora in 2021, and this is like the easiest palette to put on your eyes. Not just because the shades are named after where you should put them, because sometimes we follow that and sometimes we don't, but also the blendability, and it's just effortless. So I do have like some shades that I really do tend to stick to, like pretty much the top row, a little bit of the middle. I need to dip into this bottom row a little bit more, but every time I put this on my eyes, I just think it looks stunning. It's such a pretty palette. So I love the mid-size of the Natasha palettes that don't own any of the large, but I'm really happy I have this one, and this was my favorite palette of last year. Number 18 is a palette that you didn't expect to love, and that was another one that was kind of easy for me. That was this brand, the One Lawless. I actually picked up the baby one first, and I fell in love with it. So I went ahead and got the bigger one, and this is amazing too. This palette does seem kind of basic, kind of just like you need it, but if you have a bunch of palettes, you don't. But this formula is so beautiful. I hear a lot of people talking about it for good reason. There's just so many shades in here that, again, it's another one of those palettes that blends itself, puts itself on my eyeballs, and I love it. These two shades are my favorite though. I do go into Baby and Cutie a lot, make a really quick look, and as you can see, they're really well loved, but all of these colors are pretty. And I would love to see another palette like this from the brand. I bought all the mini palettes, I guess you'd say, and I love them too. And they're just so basic. Like they have 4 mattes and some shimmer, but man, the eye looks you can put together are so beautiful. So I didn't expect to love this as much as I did. Really, really love that one. Okay, we're gonna keep going here. My next one is a palette that sparks joy. And that one went to another collab palette. This is at Forest Sight. It's the Raw Beauty Christy and Colourpop palette. I remember just being so excited when I saw that she was having her baby and collabing with this brand. But then when I saw the color story, it's almost like I got to create a palette. I really love this color range. It's so diverse and it's so muted. I just love this kind of a look, and it was really easy to use. I did stick to this top row a lot for my matte transition, but every shimmer in here, well, there's only these two. I thought there was, oh no, this one's kind of a shimmer too. It's called Let It Rain, but this glitter in here kind of dissipates, so you just end up with like a black, but it really is nice to like use for liner or to smoke out a look. But everything in here just screams Christy, but it's when you kind of resonate with someone, everything in here really works for me too. So I would never create an eyeshadow palette. I'm not creative enough, but this is definitely kind of what I would go with. And I just love jewel tones. I love muted color stories. So this palette just brings me joy to use, and I will never, ever, ever get rid of this palette. I will never get rid of that palette. Okay, so the next one is a palette that is newest to my collection, and I actually haven't purchased makeup since December of 2021. I've put myself on a no buy till April, and I wanted to wait till the sales, and then they went ahead and I think both sales, no, the Sephora sale's in April, so I'll probably wait till then. But the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty is now, and I've wanted a few things, but so far so good. I've held out, and it's just because I really have too much makeup for one person ever. And so the Rose Quartz palette by Huda Beauty is my newest palette. I picked this one up at the end of the year, I think for my birthday. The single palettes technically came after that, but this was the last one that I purchased for myself. And look at this color story. Isn't that beautiful? Now it has this weird shade in here that I've never attempted to use. It's supposed to be like a glittery topper, but everything else in here is so pretty. And I really love using it. These shades kind of create your own shade every time you use them. Like you get something a little bit different. And this isn't my first one like this. I did get the new Naughty or whatever, but this color story really spoke to me. I love the pinks. I love the purples. There's a lot of wearable shades in here. So this was the newest palette that I purchased for my collection. So that is why I included it. I need to use it more. It's like one of those things where it's so new, I don't want to use it, and that's silly. Okay, the last one is the first palette used in 2022. And again, this was a Christmas present, but I didn't purchase this for myself. This is the Pat McGrath, what is it called? Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey. And this was the one that was a little bit more affordable. Pat McGrath can be pricey, but you get a lot. Oop. This one has like a funny, so it's really easy to set on your dresser. I've never even taken the sticker off the mirror to set on your dresser and use, but this palette is gorgeous. I love the pinks. As you can see, I love wearing pinks. I love the browns. I can't wait to play with some of these teals for the summertime. These shimmers are really pretty. I didn't grab the first one that she put out last Christmas, so this was on my Christmas wish list, and I did get it, and I absolutely love it. But I've been using this one since January. This has sat out on my vanity, and I've used it a ton. I just don't go into my makeup too hard, so you really can't tell. But these two have a little dip in them because I've been using them, and this one too, quite a bit. But I have so much in here to play with. I don't even feel like I've given it a full shot yet, and I've been using it regularly since January. So this was the very first palette because I got it for Christmas, and I still haven't put it away. And look how big it is. It's like super, super big. But yeah, her formula is amazing. Someday I do want to get myself one of the bigger palettes, but this was like $78, and I had like a sale. There was a sale, and then I used a gift card that I got for Christmas. So that's why it's my Christmas present, but I knew I wanted this palette, and I'm super happy to have it. So that is the 11 categories, and just I'll look into what kind of makeup I like to use and what are my favorite palettes. But I'll leave these down below if you're a creator and you would like to do this with your collection, and I'll also link their videos. And I really appreciate if you watch to this point, because I know my content's a little bit more Bath & Body Works candle related, but I like to sprinkle in the makeup because it is fun to talk about all things beauty. So I really appreciate if you watch to this point, and leave me a comment down below if you have favorite palettes that you'd like to share, because you know I'm always making those wish lists. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in a video probably tomorrow. Thank you.